Good morning, guys. Welcome to Mug Briefing. Right now, Apple is reportedly preparing a quiet but important change to how its in-car software works, a change that could let drivers talk to outside AI assistants like ChatGPT or Google's Gemini inside Apple CarPlay for the first time. In simple words, Apple may soon allow third-party voice chatbots to run in your car, not as replacements for Siri, but as optional apps you can open and talk to while driving. This matters because CarPlay is used by millions of Americans every day, and it sits at the center of how people navigate, message, and interact with technology behind the wheel. What's happening is not an official Apple announcement. The story comes from Bloomberg and Reuters, two major news organizations, both citing unnamed sources familiar with Apple's plans. On February 6, 2026, Bloomberg reporter Mark Gurman said Apple is preparing to allow outside voice-controlled AI chatbots inside CarPlay in the coming months. Reuters followed shortly after, confirming the same reporting and adding a key detail. Apple is working to support the apps within the coming month. Apple declined to comment to Reuters, so this is not a confirmed launch. It's a reported plan that could still change, but it comes from outlets with strong track records covering Apple's internal roadmap. What does allowing third-party chatbots actually mean in practice? According to the reporting, Siri would still be the system default assistant. The Siri button and wake word would not change. Drivers would have to open a separate CarPlay app to use a third-party assistant. Developers could design their apps to launch directly into voice mode, so once opened, the interaction would be hands-free. The reporting does not say these assistants are limited to parked vehicles, and CarPlay already supports voice interactions while driving. That suggests Apple expects these tools to function in motion, but the exact safety constraints are not yet public. It also appears this would arrive as a software update, not a new car requirement, although availability may depend on whether a vehicle's infotainment system supports the updated CarPlay version. What's confirmed versus assumed is important here. Apple has not publicly verified the feature. Everything about timing, behavior, and limits comes from source-based reporting. Bloomberg and Reuters are aligned on the core facts. Third-party assistants would be allowed, Siri remains default, and support is coming soon. The named assistants, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini are examples cited by reporters, not confirmed partnerships. There is no evidence Apple has finalized or shipped the feature yet. Safety and privacy concerns being discussed in follow-up coverage are not tied to a known incident. They are forward-looking analysis based on how AI voice systems work. So, why would Apple do this now? The timing fits a larger shift in Apple's AI strategy. In January 2026, Reuters reported Apple struck a multi-year deal to use Google's Gemini models to help upgrade Siri. That shows Apple is actively partnering rather than trying to build every AI system alone. Opening CarPlay to outside assistants appears consistent with that approach. Apple keeps control of the platform, Siri remains default, but allows competitors to operate within its ecosystem. This could be seen as a defensive move against rivals whose AI tools are advancing quickly. It also lets Apple offer more choice without surrendering system authority. In effect, Apple can say, you can use other assistants, but you still come through Apple's doorway. If this goes live, several groups benefit. AI companies gain a new channel into daily life. The car is one of the few remaining spaces where voice interaction is dominant. Developers get a new category of CarPlay apps optimized for conversation. Apple strengthens CarPlay's relevance by keeping it compatible with the AI tools people already use. Siri's position becomes more competitive, but not weaker in a structural sense, because Apple still controls the default experience. Automakers may see both opportunity and complexity. more features attract buyers, but tighter integration raises questions about responsibility if drivers become distracted. The risk balance is delicate. If an AI assistant causes confusion or distraction, responsibility could fall on app developers, Apple, or even vehicle manufacturers, depending on how the system is designed. For Americans, the immediate impact is practical. Drivers may gain new ways to ask questions, summarize messages, plan trips, or get conversational help without touching a screen. That could improve convenience, but it also raises familiar concerns about attention and data privacy. Voice assistants process spoken requests, often through cloud servers. Expanding that ecosystem inside vehicles increases the volume of sensitive driving-related data moving through AI systems. None of that is new in principle. Smartphones already do it, but the car environment makes safety stakes higher. What could happen next is fairly predictable. Apple could delay or modify the feature before release. Source-based plans are not guarantees. Early access might appear first in beta software for developers. AI companies are likely already preparing CarPlay-ready versions of their apps in case the platform opens. Apple may publish new App Store and CarPlay rules defining how voice AI behaves while a car is in motion. Regulators and road safety groups could examine the rollout closely, especially if usage grows quickly. Over time, if the feature succeeds, it could expand beyond simple voice chat into richer in-car AI tools. But the current reporting only supports voice assistant integration, not autonomous driving or advanced vehicle control. Just as important is what this story does not mean. Siri is not being replaced. Apple is not giving up control of CarPlay. This is not autonomous driving, and it does not mean cars will constantly listen to outside AI by default. It also doesn't prove Apple is behind in AI. A company opening its platform can signal competition pressure, but it can also signal confidence that its ecosystem is strong enough to host rivals without losing users. The seriousness of this story would increase if certain future signals appear. Safety incidents tied to AI voice distraction would draw regulatory attention. If Apple ever allowed users to replace Siri as the default assistant, that would represent a deeper shift in platform control. Major privacy disputes involving in-car AI data could also escalate scrutiny. Viewers should watch for on-the-record confirmation from Apple, developer tools revealing the feature publicly, announcements from AI companies about CarPlay partnerships, and any updates to official CarPlay policy documents. For now, the situation is simple. Trusted reporting says Apple is preparing to let outside AI assistants enter the car, but under Apple's rules and on Apple's timeline. It's a controlled opening, not a takeover. If it happens as described, drivers gain choice, developers gain opportunity, and Apple reinforces CarPlay as a central hub of the modern vehicle. The story is less about replacing Siri and more about how Apple is adapting to an AI world where no single assistant dominates, and the car is becoming the next major frontier of everyday computing.